What happened next happened by mistake. Mary put some fragments of the bone in acid to dissolve away the outermost layer of mineral. But the acid worked too fast and all the mineral dissolved away. Being a fossil, there should have been nothing left. But there was. And it was elastic, like living tissue.
This is the piece.
No.
She showed us video she took under the microscope.
That's really what happened?
Yes.
That's the dinosaur bone?
Without mineral now. That's what was left.
It looked like the soft tissue she would have expected to find if it had been modern bone. This was impossible. This bone was 68 million years old.
So you see this and you think, what? You
I didn't want to tell anybody.
You'd be ridiculed,
yes.
right?
And so I said to my technician, okay, do it again. I don't believe it.
And yet, in sample after sample, they were there. Things that looked suspiciously like flexible, transparent blood vessels. She finally mustered the courage to tell Jack.
She said she dissolved the bone away and there were blood vessels. And, you know, I was like shocked. I mean,
how could that be?
How could that be? That's right.
The things Mary was finding inside dinosaur bones,
Look at that.
blood vessels, and even what seemed to be intact cells, pose a radical challenge to the existing rules of science, that organic material can't possibly survive even 1 million years, let alone 68 million. Mary, Jack, and their team published their B-Rex findings in a series of papers in the journal Science and were promptly attacked. Critics said their samples might have been contaminated, or that the supposed blood vessels were actually something called biofilm, a type of slime. But as Mary showed us, she's been able to replicate her findings. These are pieces of an even older dinosaur, a well-preserved 80-million-year-old duckbill. When she dissolved it away in acid...
Let's put this under the scope here.
Well, look.
Is that a blood vessel?
This is a blood vessel.
You're
You
kidding.
see the branches right there? And look at all of them. And it's so consistent over and over and over again. We do this bone and it comes out and I get excited every time. I can't help it. I mean, 80 million years old.
Mary published her new results last year, and while some of her critics have been swayed, the controversy still rages, and the stakes are high. If blood vessels can survive 80 million years, what about DNA?
Find all these studies, especially with the fresh organic material of dinosaurs. How is it that the scientific community in general is able to just ignore? How do they ignore it, or specifically, how do they defraud that or try to do that?
Well, some people try to say they were just bacterial films initially, and then they realized, no, these things are real. The more studies they did, and a lot of them are just, they don't talk about the consequences. They just report it. You know, they're now saying in geology textbooks, they're talking about chemical fossils now. And they're going, isn't that cool? That's all they say. They don't, you know, Mary Schweitzer gave a talk in Dallas a couple years ago, and she talked about them, how they found them in T-Rex Sioux even, but it hasn't been published. They found them in every, Cretaceous dinosaur she's ever looked at. But she never addressed how they can survive. She just said they're everything. But she did admit fossils have to form fast and deep, which was kind of a change for previous years. But there's some journals, to my knowledge, the Society of Vertebrate Paleontologists, their journal still refuses to publish anything dealing with soft tissues. They just don't believe it, so they just ignore it.
Wow.
And publish it. So there's a lot of people that they just don't talk about, they say, we don't understand how these things were preserved for that long, but we know they were. That's kind of usually the standard thing. They don't understand how, but they know they were because they know these are 66 million years old or whatever. So they just won't consider the other option.
So I was recently in a Young Earth seminar where your research was used to support claims that working blood vessels, fresh blood cells, and intact DNA had been found in dinosaur cells or dinosaur fossils. Is that a fair characterization of your research?
It's wrong on all counts. If these guys would take half the energy that they spend trying to prove that the world is young and use it to change the world around them, feed the hungry, take care of the kids, get the cats off the street, anything, that our world would be so much better. But they waste so much time and energy and effort on disproving that the world is old.